Join me as I unearth the incredible story of Estonia's flag, a symbol of resistance and national pride. How the buried flag of Estonia serves as a poignant reminder of the sacrifices made for freedom. But how did the burial of a national flag become a symbol of resistance against the Soviet rule? Who were the unsung heroes behind the protection of a flag during the country's darkest days? And will a simple piece of cloth continue to inspire future generations to stand up against tyranny? Behind me is the Pick Herman Tower. It acts a bit like a barometer of which national flag to fly for the country as a whole. But let's start with where this flag came from. Its origins derive from a national movement by an Estonian student society who adopted the blue, black and white as their colours of their undergraduate fraternity on the 4th of June 1884, the date now celebrated as Estonia's Flag Day. This first flag was handmade in the spring of 1884 by Paula Herman, wife of Dr. Carl August Herman and an honorary member of the student society. She made it in the family home kitchen, but as the country was under rule by the Imperial Russia, it was not allowed to be flown. But that all changed just 34 years later, when the flag was finally made a legitimate symbol of Estonia. Now, bear with me, there's lots of dates here. On the 12th of December 1918, the current flag was hoisted officially for the first time. However, on the 22nd of June 1940, it was flown alongside the red flag of the Soviets after the Red Army entered during the World War II. Both flags were replaced by the Soviet Union on the 27th of July 1940. Forward another year, the German occupation banned the Estonian flag and it withdrew in September 1944. And the blue, black, white national tricolour flag was raised here again. But the Soviets re-entered, and on the 22nd of September 1944, during this period, there was a ban on this flag by law. The Soviets would only allow their design to be flown, which meant that symbols of blue, white and black were illegal and ended up on display in the privacy of people's own homes, and then sometimes hidden away from sight because you could never really trust your visitors. During the early days of occupation, Russians living in Tallinn were tasked to collect all the Estonian flags as locals met by memorials to sing patriotic Soviet songs. During this period, many Estonians living abroad would fly the flag, so it was on display in countries such as the USA. Estonia's original flag, sewn by Paula Herman, had been placed in the National Museum in Tallinn. Worried that it would be removed by the Soviets, a group of people, including the museum's director Ferdinand Linnaeus, removed the flag on the 16th of August 1940 and replaced it with a 1934 replica made for the flag's 50th anniversary. It was placed in a copper container which then sat inside a wooden box and buried in the woods near Viljandi. The survivors of this group, realising that the Soviets were here for the long term, also realised that the flag was not adequately protected. So on the 22nd of July 1942, the box was dug up and they wrapped the flag in an oiled cloth and asbestos. If only they knew what we know today about asbestos. This time placing it in a steel box, welding it shut, which was then wrapped in more asbestos and finally placed in a wooden box. One of the group, Karl Aun, once the president of the Estonian University Association, took the box to his family farm in Vaimestvere, central Estonia, and placed the box in the foundations of a new chimney he then built for his grandmother, who'd been asking for such a thing for many years. See, ladies, we men eventually get round to these types of jobs. The flag was eventually dug up on the 26th of December 1991, 4 months after the Declaration of Independence, so as to make sure the Soviets had definitely left. The flag was finally presented to the President of Estonia for the Estonian people and was restored due to only minor damage, and again appeared in the Estonian National Museum on the 14th of September 1992. Professor Aun died in Toronto, Canada at the age of 80 on the 21st of March 1995, but will always be remembered as the patriot who saved the first original flag of Estonia. The various Soviet flags throughout the occupation flew here until the 24th of February 1989, where it was agreed that the tricolour once again could fly at the top of the tower. Some 2 years before Estonia eventually regained independence, and the flag has been flying here ever since. Estonian culture closely intertwined with nature, making the landscape an instinctive source of inspiration for the nation's flag, as these real-life photos of the flag suggest. Blue for clear skies, the Baltic Sea, the freshwater lakes; black for the fertile soil and dark, thick forest; white for wintry snow and summery white nights. Blue and white also embodies the spirit of loyalty and enlightenment, used by Estonian people to overlook the darkness of hardship. This unique combination of colours makes the Estonian flag easily recognisable throughout the world. As national flags go, out of the horizontal tribands, Estonian flag is the most popular, according to a Reddit poll of flag enthusiasts, and I have to agree. So what makes this so popular, this national flag, amongst vexillologists or flag nerds? Is it the deep meaning behind the colours, the geography and environment it represents, or the darker underlying troubles that Estonians have had to endure to get their independence on more than one occasion? Is it that we can take wintry landscape photos that easily make up this flag? I think it's an amalgamation of all of these, that and the striking contrast between each colour, how each stripe stands out, doesn't get lost in the mix of the other colours, while complementing each other as well. That's my take on it, at least. Oh, and I don't think wintry is an actual word, but you understood what I meant anyway. Today's flag of Estonia, kept alive during the Soviet era by Estonians in Sweden, the US and elsewhere around the world. So thank you to those immigrants. The other tricolour of the Baltics is Lithuania, which has a slightly more cheery looking national symbol where the sun plays a major part, and you can see that flag flying on a tower in the capital of Vilnius. Bon voyage!